A while back I made a video going over the worst thing that every Family Guy character has ever done, but this time I'm flipping it by looking at the worst thing that has happened to them. So, going alphabetically, let's start with Adam West. In season 9's Brothers and Sisters, Mayor Adam West finally finds love when he marries Lois's sister Carol.
I know it's gonna work. I love you.
And for a guy as weird and eccentric as he is, this was pretty interesting, as it actually looked like he'd found his happily ever after. But then season 11 comes around, more specifically the episode Valentine's Day in Quahog, and completely ruins it, because Carol cheats on him with another mayor.
Unhand that woman, you bastard!
Adam!
West is crushed, but instead of walking away, he duels the guy to win Carol back.
Please never let this happen again.
I won't, Adam. You're the only mayor for me.
Yep, that's total BS, Carol.
Hey, Carol. I almost didn't recognize you without my special sauce all over your face.
I think he should have kicked her cheating ass out on the curb. He deserved way better. Angela. So, unlike Mayor West, who was quietly written out with no in-universe explanation, Angela was given a proper send-off. When her voice actress Carrie Fisher unfortunately passed away in 2017, the show decided to address it directly. In season 17's Pawtucket Pete, Peter explains how the character passed.
But at least Angela died doing what she loved, swimming less than 20 minutes after she had eaten.
Hence giving us the worst thing that has happened to her, in that she died. Barbara Pewterschmidt. Poor Babs has had to put up with Carter's adulterous ways for years. Like when the sleazebag cheated on her with Tricia, and then in season 9's Welcome Back Carter, Peter even catches him in bed with another woman.
Ew! No, this is my sister. Ew! No, I'm impotent. Ew!
And after a bit of blackmail, Peter eventually lets the secret slip, and Babs is devastated.
Peter is the best, and he is awesome, and he makes better laser sounds than I do.
Damn right, you hear that, Lois? And he's not just saying that because I covered for him about his affair.
Oh dear!
She kicks Carter's crusty ass out and tries to start fresh, but of course, she ends up forgiving him later on. To be fair though, Babs isn't exactly innocent either. She's had her own affairs, like when her son caught her with Jackie Gleason.
Beat it, kid, your mother's busy. Hamina, pow! Right in the kisser!
And speaking of cheating, let's go to Bonnie Swanson. So it's no secret that she's not the perfect wife. When she isn't cheating, she's sneaking ground glass into Joe's mills or buying rickety houses with the intent to kill him.
I'll take it.
But hey, we're here to talk about the worst thing that's happened to her, not Joe. So that brings me to season 10's internal affairs. Joe has an affair with a colleague and Bonnie finds out in the most humiliating way possible, overhearing him on the baby monitor.
The baby monitor.
You cheated on me? You bastard!
And this all happens during their daughter's birthday party, so she's embarrassed in front of everyone.
They still have one of those TVs with the big fat back.
And hey, she might be a serial cheater herself, but two wrongs don't make a right. Brian Griffin. I always felt so bad for Brian when he fought with Peter over a chew toy and his face collided with a fire hydrant and he lost all of his teeth. Look at it. Horrible.
Brian, we can try to make you feel a little less repulsive, but we're not spending human money on a deformed animal.
And maybe it hits harder because I have recurring nightmares about losing my teeth. It just freaks me out, alright? But even still, I'd say the worst thing that has happened to him was in season 12's Life of Brian, which was more like the death of Brian because in this episode he gets hit by a car and is killed off the show forever. Or just 2 episodes. Even still, Brian has had plenty of serious injuries over the years, but this is the only time he actually died. For a short while at least. Bruce. After tying the knot with his long-term partner Jeffrey in season 19's Meg's Wedding, the two go on to have a baby via surrogacy. And Bruce is finally living his life openly. He's no longer hiding who he is in front of his family and has a husband and a baby, and it all looks very lovely. But that all comes crashing down in season 23's The Fat Lotus. This is when the two of them join Peter and the gang on a group holiday.
Me and Jeffrey can't believe we's finally in the Bermuda Triangle.
And while out on a boat, Jeffrey's hat falls into the water and he jumps in to retrieve it and is eaten by a shark.
Oh no!
It is a pretty gruesome scene as we linger on the sight of his bloody, severed body. And to rub more salt in the wound, Bruce has to watch them push 2 coffins onto the plane. But on the bright side, at least Bruce finds someone else pretty quickly.
I could come back with you.
Oh, let the healing begin!
And weirdly enough, this won't be the last time that I'll talk about a shark in this video. Carter. This billionaire is a cruel bastard, once hiding the cure for cancer so he could make himself even richer. But in season 17's Regarding Carter, he actually turns a new leaf thanks to losing his memory. Because after Lois accidentally shoots him in the head, Carter is severely brain damaged. But that is until she shows him the Real Housewives.
Daddy, you're back!
Please, anything but this show.
As it turns out, getting shot was the best thing to have happened to him. He's far happier now and even vows to give away all of his money.
That's why I've decided to retire from Pewterschmidt Industries and give all my money to charity.
That's until Babs arrives on the scene and blasts him in the head.
Who told Carter he could give away our money?
And somehow this doesn't kill him and he returns to his usual cruel self. So yeah, getting shot twice in the head by his own family is pretty bad. So let's now talk about Chris Griffin. My mind immediately went to the time where he grinded himself into a sausage.
You must make me whole again.
But then again, he was pretty happy that that hot girl put him around her neck.
Never mind, this is my destiny.
Plus, unlike Angela and Brian, Chris didn't actually die. This was a one-off gag. No, I believe the worst thing that has happened to him is a whole lot darker. Because in season 16's Absolutely Babulous, the Griffin house catches on fire and Herbert rushes in to save Chris. And for a second, it looks like Herbert is about to be a hero, but instead of carrying Chris to safety, he takes him straight back to his own house. And what makes it even worse is that his family doesn't care.
You know what? He's earned that.
Cleveland Brown. A pretty obvious choice would be...
No, 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 no!
Imagine every time you took a bath, the front of your house gets destroyed and you end up flat on your naked ass in front of the whole neighborhood. It's embarrassing, it's painful, and with the number of times it's happened, it's gonna be insanely expensive to keep fixing his house. But you know what's worse than all of that? Losing your legs and having them handed over to your best friend. And that's exactly what happened in season 22's Old World Harm. Joe originally tricks Peter and Lois into going into a retirement home in Florida, which turns out to be run by seniors who are secretly harvesting organs. Joe wants Peter's legs, but when Peter and Lois manages to escape, Joe sends Cleveland down there instead.
Hey bud, how was Florida?
So Joe tricked one of his best friends into having his legs amputated. Also, he could take them for himself. That's seriously fucked. Cleveland Brown Jr. In the earlier seasons, this kid was super energetic and very slim, but fast forward to the Cleveland show pilot and he's the complete opposite. Big and slow.
Okay, but we're out of sandwich cookies.
Not about his and Oreos gone? Damn!
So, what happened? Well, it was revealed that the original Cleveland Jr. was taken out and replaced with a secret agent. What actually happened to the real Junior is anyone's guess, but it would make for a great episode if he suddenly turned up one day having finally escaped from wherever he's been held all these years. Therefore, leaving Cleveland to have to choose between the two of them. But let's be honest, the original Junior is most likely dead. Consuela. This woman is the hardest working person in Quahog because as the head of the maid union, she's constantly fighting for her people's needs.
And what exactly are your demands?
We need more lemon pledge.
You need more lemon pledge.
Yes.
Also, she isn't just the maid for the Griffins and the Swansons, she's also the maid to Superman.
Mr. Superman not here.
Well, we're looking for a missing...
I know. Mr. Superman, he know is here.
And on top of that, she even worked for James Woods. A job she would come to regret, because in season 9's And Then There Were Fewer, she drops a shocking line that Woods assaulted her nephew, who then later unalived himself. It's an unexpectedly dark and shocking moment. Death. In season 2's Death is a Bitch, he comes to collect Peter's soul, but twists his ankle after chasing him.
Yeah, listen, don't help or anything. I'm totally fine.
So with the Grim Reaper sidelined, nobody on Earth can die, and so chaos erupts as accidents pile up with absolutely no consequences. So helpless and humiliated, Death is forced to stay on the Griffin's couch and hand his powers over to Peter.
I'm tired of always being the bad guy. What I do has to be done.
And to be honest, compared to a lot of other things mentioned on this list, having a twisted ankle and some time off ain't so bad.
Yeah, that felt good, driving me hard on the couch like that.
Diane Simmons. In season 9's And Then There Were Fewer, Diane's life unravels when she finds out that she's being replaced by a younger anchor, and so her jealousy boils over into violence. At James Woods' mansion party, she snaps, killing multiple guests in a desperate scheme to frame Tom Tucker and reclaim her career. But her plan collapses, and just when she's about to take out Lois, Stewie snipes her.
If anybody's gonna take that bitch down, it's gonna be me.
Dr. Elmer Hartman. This guy is a walking malpractice lawsuit.
Hey, do you know where I could find any books about, the pancreas?
And funnily enough, the rare time Dr. Elmer Hartman actually does his job right is the moment he loses his license. In season 5, Stewie loves Lois, Peter goes in for a routine checkup, and Hartman tells him it's time for his prostate exam.
Mr. Griffin, that's a prostate exam.
Shut up! You had your finger in my ass!
That's how a prostate exam is performed.
But Peter flips out, claims that he was assaulted, and drags Hartman to court.
I tried to get him to stop, but he kept saying, "Relax, I'm a doctor."
This is ridiculous. That never happened.
And so the judge revokes his license. Later on, Peter thinks something is wrong with his prostate and has no choice but to go back to the same doctor that he ruined.
So, I'm asking you, as a man with no more options, will you take a look in my ass?
Hartman did eventually get his license back, but still, for a short while he lost his livelihood and his reputation was tarnished through no fault of his own. Ernie the giant chicken. During his epic fights with Peter, Ernie has survived a ridiculous amount of punishment, but the fight with Peter's daughter might be the most brutal and final. In season 23's The Chicken and the Meg falls for a guy named Nugget, and just like Romeo and Juliet, their parents hate each other, and after falling out with her dad, Meg moves in with her boyfriend's family, and everything seems fine until Ernie insults her father.
He bowled with the lane guards up. Without the jeopardy of a gutter ball, what is bowling?
Hey man, too far. I bowl with the lane guards up. Despite all of the crap that Peter has put her through over the years, Meg stands up for him. She brutally decapitates Ernie in a very gnarly scene, and his headless body runs around in front of his poor family. Plus, we don't get the usual close-up of his eye, perhaps signalling that this is Ernie's final true defeat. Meg did what her father could never do, she finally killed the chicken. For now at least. Evil Monkey. After terrorizing Chris for years by angrily pointing, we eventually learn that he's not so scary after all. He was just too shy to strike up a conversation. But before that, this poor little monkey was beaten to a pulp by Brian's son Dylan.
Yay! I haven't been in my closet for years! Boy, there is a lot of feces in here.
Glenn Qaugmire. This pervert's life has always revolved around one thing, which is sex.
Something I can help you with?
Yeah, you got any brain-dead women in there you let people have sex with for a few bucks?
Sure, come on back.
It's pretty much his entire personality.
How you girls doing on popcorn?
I'll take some.
Here you go.
He'd be lost without his Johnson, and in season 16's The Unkindest Cut, that's exactly what happens when he faces his ultimate nightmare. Because while skiing with the guys, a shark bites off his D.
Oh my God, Qaugmire lost his penis!
The one thing that defined him was gone. Suddenly, Qaugmire is a shell of a man, miserable, depressed, and utterly lost without his most prized possession.
You don't understand what that penis meant to me. We did everything together.
But thankfully, Ida comes to the rescue by giving him her old penis.
After my surgery, I kept it in my freezer, next to a snowball from the winter, if you can believe that.
But there's one problem. It has a huge mole.
I try to tell him it's my dad's old penis, but that just tends to make it worse.
Greased up deaf guy. For the longest time, he was just a random greasy enigma.
You're never gonna catch me. You're wasting your time. Forget about it. Go do something else.
We knew almost nothing about him until season 11's Yug Yilmaf. When Brian accidentally reverses time by messing with Stewie's time machine, he learns that he was once an ordinary businessman until he got caught in a grease truck explosion.
Oh,
Oh, the grease burns so bad! I can't hear!
Herbert. In Season 9's German Guy, we see a flashback of Herbert being a pilot in World War II, and after being shot down, he was sent to a concentration camp. And while he was there, they forced him to do really, truly awful things, like sorting out recyclables.
Dear God, how my hands would get kind of sticky.
And let me tell you, there's nothing worse than having sticky trash juice spilled all over you. Gross. Ida. So originally I was going to focus on the time that Ida came out to her son and revealed the truth about herself.
And while I'm in Quahog, I plan to have a sex change operation.
Oh, come on, just be gay.
And instead of embracing her decision, Qaugmire shunned her, and so being rejected by your own son just for living your authentic self must have been really, really horrible. At the end of the day though, Qaugmire did change his mind and accepted Ida for who she truly was.
Glenn?
Sorry. Damn thing can't tell the difference.
Oh, no.
So therefore, I've decided to go with the real worst moment for Ida, which came in Season 18's Brider. Here she reconnects with Brian and they start going steady. And for the first time in a long time, she's actually happy. The one person who isn't happy though is Qaugmire. Because being Brian's worst enemy, he can't stand seeing her with him. So he gives her an ultimatum. It's either him or the dog. So not wanting to lose her son, Ida chooses Qaugmire.
I've made my decision.
Bye-bye, Brian. You're history.
Qaugmire taking away Ida's chance at happiness is pure selfishness. And this was after she had already been kind enough to give him her penis. It's the ultimate reminder that no matter what Ida did for him, Qaugmire always manages to make it about himself. Joe Swanson. A pretty obvious choice for Joe was becoming a paraplegic. But since that happened before the show even started, let's go with the time where he became a quadriplegic, which was in Season 14's Brokeback Swanson. So the guys have this bright idea to partake in a bull run, and of course Joe's wheelchair catches on a bottle cap and he gets launched into the air. This is right before bulls trample him and pierce him in the spine with their horn.
Oh my God! Joe's completely paralyzed!
So now he's paralysed from the neck down, and what does his darling wife do?
I'm leaving Joe and moving to Europe. I didn't sign up for this.
Buddy, wait.
So much for in sickness and in health. His friends try to pick up the slack and take care of him themselves, and I use the word care very loosely here.
Now, which wall would you like to look at for the rest of your life?
I don't know. Maybe that one.
Eventually though, it all gets a bit too much and they dump him in a crumbling state home. By the end, Joe does get partial use of his body back, but by that point he's been abandoned not by just his wife, but also his best friends. Tragic. Jerome. Jerome has the most tragic backstory of any character in the show, and he dropped his heartbreaking story in Season 16's Follow the Money. He reveals he married his high school sweetheart, and a week after the wedding, she was diagnosed with cancer. And at her funeral, his daughter caught pneumonia and died 6 weeks later. And obviously, it is just a cartoon, but still, that is absolutely awful. Jillian. After being messed around by Brian, Jillian married a really great and kind man in Season 7. But her happy life was torn apart in Season 9 when Diane murdered Derek.
Oh my God, it's you! The man or woman who's been killing everybody! Stay back! Stay back!
I've always felt so bad for Jillian here. She looks absolutely devastated. Kool Aid Man. Now it is funny to think that a mascot of a drinks company is an actual character in Family Guy.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Yeah!
And in Season 9's The Hand That Rocks the Wheelchair, an evil version of Stewie smashes his glass body and drinks his spilled fluids. Kool Aid Man has returned since though, so I guess he's immortal or something. Lois Griffin. Originally I was gonna go with Stewie kills Lois where, well, Stewie kills Lois. He pumps her full of lead and she somehow survives and they end up in an all-out battle that ends up with her killing her own baby. But since that was technically just a simulation, it doesn't really count. So I narrowed it down to two choices. One is physical pain and the other is pure mental scarring. For the first, there's Season 4's Petarded, where Peter accidentally throws boiling hot oil all over Lois.
Lois, you look worse than that Rocky Dennis kid from Mask.
Leaving her body covered in severe burns. Easily one of the most painful things imaginable. But then mentally, there's Season 21's The Manchurian Candidate. Lois wants Peter to go down on her, but he doesn't like doing it. So together they go to a sex therapist and she recommends hypnotherapy, meaning that whenever he hears a trigger phrase, he imagines licking an ice cream, when in reality he's licking something else. And Peter is totally up for it. And at first everything is going great until they have dinner at her parents' house. Peter goes upstairs to check on her sick mother, and then here's the extra jingle, and yeah. So what's worse? Having boiling oil dumped on you, or seeing your husband chow down on your mum? Honestly, the burns will heal, but that mental image is gonna stick in Lois's brain forever. Ugh. Loretta Brown. In the Cleveland show pilot, Cleveland moves out of Quahog because his ex-wife wants the house, and that decision came back to bite her in the ass when Peter destroys her house and she falls to her death. And if that wasn't bad enough, Qaugmire had his way with her dead body.
Why is she wearing a French maid's costume?
Because I want to nail a dead French maid. Giggity, giggity!
And yes, I am very aware that I missed out Cleveland's current wife Donna Tubbs, but I just couldn't think of a single bad thing that has happened to her. She's barely in the show as it is, and my memory of the Cleveland show is hazy at best. And hey, maybe that is the worst thing to have happened to her, to become completely irrelevant and underused. But yeah, if you have a better worst thing to have happened to Donna Tubbs, then do let me know down in the comments. Thank you. Meg Griffin. So how the hell am I supposed to narrow this down to just one worst thing? Meg alone could fill an entire 2-hour long video. By this point, the worst thing to have happened to Meg was be born, because her life has been one long drag of suffering. But if I had to choose just one example, then it has to be the time where she lost her legs and arms and was struck dumb, deaf and blind. Honestly, I couldn't imagine a fate worse than this. Mort. So once again, let's talk about the episode, and then there were fewer. So another one of Diane's victims was Mort's wife Muriel, and although Mort is a little cut up, it is pretty hilarious that he couldn't think of a single positive thing to say about her.
She was so young. She was so beautiful. She was so generous. We were married.
Neil. Anyone who has watched my Meg Love Live video would know that I hate this creepy dweeb so much. So for his example, I don't feel too bad. So in season 3's The Kiss Scene Around the World, Neil Goldman experiences one of his most humiliating moments. Sent to cover a dangerous breaking news situation with Meg, they're caught in the crossfire. And thinking that this is their last moment, Meg kisses him. And what does this weirdo do? He publicly airs the moment on live TV. He then prints the kiss on t-shirts and hands them out at school. So Meg rightfully lays into him.
Hear that, Neil? I don't like you, and I never will.
Feeling crushed, Neil threatens to jump off the town hall, and he almost falls to his demise, but luckily Meg was there to cushion his fall. And sure, it was his most humiliating moment ever, but he embarrassed Meg far more. Peter Griffin. As much death and destruction that Peter has caused, he's also been on the receiving end of a lot of pain. As such, I really struggled to narrow this down to just one. So I passed this off to you guys. In a community poll, I asked what is the worst thing that has happened to Peter, with the most liked comment being chosen to be the winner. And with 245 responses, the top 3 comments were the time Angela essayed Peter with 159 likes, and then with 171 likes, it's I'm a breeding bull, i.e. referring to this moment from season 8's Dial Meg for Murder. And the top comment with 178 likes is Peter struggling after learning that his Peter isn't his biological father and he feels lost in a deep, meaningful way. Now personally, I never really found this moment to be deep or meaningful at all, but seeing as this is the most upvoted comment, this moment wins as the worst thing to have happened to Peter. Seamus. I mean, come on, this one's gotta be pretty obvious, right? Look at him, he's 90% wood.
How the hell are you alive?
But how he lost his limbs and torso is an ever-changing story. Like he once explained that James Woods ate his arms and legs.
Grilled me, ate me arms and legs, it was a whole thing.
And in the flashback Peter and Lois's wedding, it was hinted that a shark ate his body parts.
Let's go take a midnight swim at Shark Bite Cove.
Either way, most of his body parts got eaten by something. whether it was by a Hollywood actor or a furious shark. That's a pretty horrific way to end up as a human puppet.
Now I gotta empty my pants!
Stewie Griffin. Despite only being 1 year old, Stewie has been through absolute hell. He's been attacked by a dingo.
Ah, Brian! Browser history! Clear it!
He was grotesquely fused with his teddy bear.
Ah, I'm a monster!
He's lost an ear.
You may have noticed I'm missing an ear.
Oh yeah, and let's not forget that Brian gave him herpes.
You knew you had herpes and you still agreed to swap blood with me!
All of these examples are truly, truly horrible, but the absolute worst thing has to be in Season 8's Brian Griffin's House of Pain. Stewie gets pushed down the stairs, splits his head open, and his siblings refuse to take him to the hospital. Instead, they try to cover it up and hide the gaping wound. And when they bring him outside, a raccoon straight up gnaws at his exposed brains. Peter eventually finds out and refuses to help too, and it gets to the point where the gash gets even worse.
Oh, crap. You smell that? That's brain smell.
So, do they finally take him to urgent care? Of course not. He tosses Stewie under Lois's moving car. And does she take him to the hospital? Nope, she decides it's far easier to cover it all up and pin the blame on someone else. Eventually, they do take him to the hospital, where he ends up in a coma for several months.
Hey, I just found out it's November. What the happened?
Getting a massive head wound is bad enough, but the fact that his family refused to get him urgent care and just kept trying to cover it up is completely messed up. His family's complete lack of care for his well-being makes this the worst thing that has ever happened to him. Tom Tucker. Being a news anchor was Tom's entire life, so when it was taken away from him, he sinks into a deep depression. In Season 14's The New Adventures of Old Tom, he becomes terrified of being replaced by a newer and much younger anchor. So Peter offers to help him stay relevant by teaching him to be young and hip. And if you know anything, it's that you should never listen to Peter Griffin. And one of his dumb ideas is for Tom to tattoo himself live on air.
Never seen a guy so young and cool before. Tumblr!
As a result, Tom is fired and his dream job is now snatched away from him.
I was born to be a newsman. This just out, me!
Feeling bleak, Tom climbs a building and is ready to jump. To make it even worse, his replacement shows up and wants to interview him before he jumps. Peter manages to save the day by saying that he's going to jump and only Tom can interview him live on air. And just as they're about to walk away, Tom accidentally falls.
It's fine, he landed on people.
Tricia Takanawa. In Season 2's Daboom, Quahog is devastated by the Y2K virus, leading to societal collapse. In this post-apocalyptic setting, Tricia becomes a victim of cannibalism.
I guess we should be eating her with chopsticks.
And so we've come to the end of the video, and if I have missed anyone, comment down below their name and also the worst thing that has ever happened to them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.